So his base, Yuvim Behektim, my Merazal, understand. The Shaila he asked before basically was that the Giluyim of Purim, the divine revelation that makes Purim unique in contrast to every other Yom Tov, was a result of the Mesiras Nefesh of Yidden for an entire year. And that elicited the divine response. Hence, the question is that Chachamim, we would have expected to have been established Purim, not when it was over, the Mesiras Nefesh, but Adarab, to establish our celebration during, acknowledging the Mesiras Nefesh, at least during the war period, the 2 days or the 1 day, depending where, that preceded Purim. So, V'yuvim behektim, my Merazal, understand by first prefacing what the Gemara says in Sanhedrin Gemara. The Gemara says as follows: Sholosh mitzvahs nitztavu Yisrael b'chnisas and la'aretz. Yidden were commanded 3 mitzvahs upon their entry into Yisrael. Number 1, the Haimid le'melech, to appoint the king. Number 2, l'hachir zarish al-Amalek, to eradicate the seed of Amalek. And 3, Beis HaBchira, and to build the Beis HaMikdash. The Gemara continues, I don't know which one comes first in the order of observance. So the Gemara analyzes the Psukim. The Pasuk says, the Pasuk concludes with, it doesn't mean the Pasuk here, but the Pasuk starts with reference to Hashem's kingdom, and then to destroy the enemy. So we see from there, the Pasuk is telling us that first king. So that's number 1. But still, what follows next? Beis HaMikdash or destroying Amalek. So the Gemara brings another pasuk, and that pasuk establishes that what comes first, first Amalek, and then he doesn't bring the psukim, but that's the conclusion. So what's the Seder? The Seder is Melech, then Amalek, and then Binyan Beis HaMikdash. He adds in brackets, we find this parallel in the story of Purim. After killing 75,000 descendants of Amalek, you see the Medrash, that they were all descendants of Amalek, the ones that they didn't kill. So then could come Purim. That is like building the Beis HaMikdash, because soon after they went back, in fact, to the completed Beis HaMikdash. So given granted permission, the building had been halted and it was subsequently built. So we see that the Seder in Purim, that there's no Melech here, but the Seder here of the latter 2, namely Amalek, precedes Beis HaMikdash. And this was also the way it was established for future generations. So that the Yidden entered at Yisrael. We see that notwithstanding the fact that the great judges and great leaders, they were not commanded to destroy Amalek. They had to engage in the war of the 7 tribes and the nations that occupied the land, but not Amalek. So first they had to conquer Yisrael, again, not Amalek, but Yisrael, which is the land of the 7 nations. But then they got the mitzvah to appoint a king, and the first one was the first of the Jewish kings. And then came the commandment. So I've remembered what Amalek did to the Yidden. And Hashem commands Shaul, Amalek, strike Amalek, and utterly destroy. Okay, he wasn't successful, but the tzivui to destroy Amalek came after Minui Melech. Rak la'achari the Shaul, only after the generation of Shaul, that his milchama was, should have been, was. The milchama Amalek, Oz ba David. And what's David? That's Beis Hamikdash. Shenyoni Hayalasis is Kol Achonis the Beis Hamikdash. She had to prepare everything for the building of Beis Hamikdash. As he says, Hachinois prepared everything. So why didn't he actually build it? Because he was a warrior, he could not actually build it. You spilled much blood. So who actually built it? Shlomo built it Lepeil. Aval calls the Shaykh L'Dirish David. It's all connected to David. Because like this isn't Tilim. Mizmor Shir, a song, Chanukah Sabayis, that celebrates the Chanukah, the dedication of the Beis Hamikdash. LeDavid, it's associated to who? To David, even though he didn't build it, because without him it would not have been built. And the Gemara tells us at length that after it was built, Shlomo Melech could not get the Aron inside Beis Hamikdash, notwithstanding his many tefillas and entreaties. Only when he invoked the schus of his father David, then they were able to get the Aron HaKodesh inside the Heichel in the Kodesh HaKadoshim, which is a public demonstration. The Gemara concludes it that David's shame was forever removed, erased. Everybody saw that the Beis Hamikdash, that the divine presence manifest on earth, is only in his schus. So we see the Seder. The Seder is what? Shaul HaMelech, Malchus. Then comes Amalek, the Milchama Amalek, and only then he's bringing Beis Hamikdash. Now, of course, to explain this, Ma'avedes Adam, personally. These three yonim, that applied when the Yidden entered that Yisrael, applies to every person. First of all, is the Nevat Yisrael. What's that Yisrael? Why was the earth called Eretz? Adoma, earth, enough. Why was he given the name Eretz? Because Eretz hints to Rotz. It wanted to do the will of its master. Since every day a person must serve his master. Last, it's saying to do the will of his master, his owner, in a this is every day entering into Yisrael, B'Avedas Adam, and one's personal Aveda, every day affirming, and moreover than affirming, but deeper in what a deeper expression of one's will to serve Hashem. That's B'chlal. B'chlal is, the Achana is the Rotzen that starts everything. The person has to want. He wants to serve Hashem. So now there are the three stages. So first he has to pale by himself the need of appointing a king. And then he raised Amalek. So we're going to see Kefishim B'Avedas Adam as they are in Aveda. As it's known, Torah was given first in its general principles and then its details. Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva, if the details are also given. At Sinai, only the klolos, and the details given in the later in the El Mayed, when Hashem communicated to Moishe again. Or everything was given, even klolos upratis were given. But Akol Ponim, according to all opinions, it's klolos upratis, and that manifests itself, we were discussing yesterday, in the whole evolution of Torah. Torah Shebeksav, Torah Shebal Peh, Torah Shebal Peh itself, Mishnah, the Gemara, the Goinim, Shoinim, Achreinim, we're going from Klal to Prat. Therefore, just like these three mitzvahs exist in the general sense, as it applies to every Yid and at all times, it also applies beprotis in a detailed, specific way to each person. Every single day. What is it? With respect to Yetzias Mitzrayim. Gulas Nisan, this is the gul that happens in this. Why are we talking about Yetzias Mitzrayim? This is Purim. Answer, Shekshur im Gulas Purim. Yetzias Mitzrayim is connected to the gul of Purim, which is why the Gemara concludes, and the halacha is, we celebrate Purim in a year when there's 2 months. Of the addition, other Sheni, we observe Purim dafke in other Sheni, even though the main order is the first one. And what it says, why? Because we want to make close one geula to the other, Purim to Pesach. It's appropriate to celebrate Purim as in the closest proximity to Pesach. One redemption should follow directly on the heels of the other. So we see the connection to Purim and Pesach. So what does it say about Pesach? Not just the connection, but it's like a hachon. A person has to view himself every day is going out of Mitzrayim. And then afterwards can be the Zocher Isa She'osa L'chamolik B'derech B'tzeitzchem Mitzrayim. So when did Amalek attack? When you left? So first have to be the Yetzias Mitzrayim and then deal with Amalek. In order to be successful in this milchama that follows after Yetzias Mitzrayim, he has to pale by himself the union of appointing a king. So therefore it's understood, we've added another thing here. Before we said, you have to have the Ratzah, but now we added the detail. Before you can have these 3 things of Binyan Melech, Mechias Amalek, or Binyan Beis Abchira, Tzarech Lias in Yetzias Mitzrayim. First has to pale by himself, the Avodah of Yetzias Mitzrayim. So here's the Seder. First you have to want. First doesn't want. So first there's go and touch Yisrael, Yima'ir the Ratzah. Then the Avodah of Yetzias Mitzrayim, and then Minui Melech, and then Amalek, and then Beis Hamikdash. So what's Yetzias Mitzrayim? Mishakololos in Yetzias Mitzrayim, who bring the Seder Ishtaushalus. Sorry, not Yetzias Mitzrayim, Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim means boundaries, right? So it's Seder Ishtaushalus. Prat, you say it's a kolachad nisab, but befrat, and in detail by each Jew, we came into a guf from Mitzrayim. We came from a high ceiling to a deep pit. The neshama is what? First tahira, and then Atavarasa, he created it, and so on. Hatzuva began mitachas kis Yaakov, hewn out from below the kis Yaakov, that's Atavarasa. Kis Yaakov is in Mabriya. Why doesn't he start with tahira? It's a big chiddush. Don't know. Because he's talking about Ishtaushalus. And Ishtaushalus, Be'ikir, is beyond. Starts in Bria, Atabarosa. Yachakach, Ata Yitzarta, Nachakach. Then Ata Nafakti, even Ata Mashamara Bikiribi. You formed it, you blew into me, you preserve it within me, which is Bistapshus about Guf and Neveshabahamis, Mamish and Guf and Neveshabahamis. Shazu Yedid Libiramita, this is a deep pit, Bimitzara Magvulim, Achi Yorud in the lowest possible limitations. No, so the first thing is, before the whole Avodah is, the Avodah, the steps of Minui Melech and Melcham with Amalek and Binyan Beis Abchira, there's got to be Inyan Ayitziv and Mitzrayim. If the Jew thinks that this whole Avodah is going to be, what's the word there? Stayed. Such a word thing there, stayed, measured, stayed. You're making a big mistake. The whole of it, and he's going to progress. Michael al-Choyel is going to go learn and daven to be a fine Jew. But he's not going to break his boundaries so it doesn't get off the ground. The first thing has to be, again, this willingness and the actual breaking the comfort zone. And then to go into Eretz Yisrael, and then and then you can start the true avodah of Melech and Mechias HaMolech and Bim Yisabchir. So to understand all of this, what's the why didn't the Neshama come down? And then he comes down, Neshama is thrust into these akbolas, and as a result, we have to have Yetzias Mitzrayim. What's the whole Indian? Vubazins explain, it's all in order to achieve an aliyah. Obviously, it's not the aliyah to go back to where we came from. What's the point of the exercise? The point is to reach even higher. Before higher than when the neshama was before the yeridah. This is what it says in Pirkei Avos. Greater, more beautiful is one moment of Shuv Nilam Ma'asim in this world. Nekol Chayilam Haba, in all of Eilam Haba. Ine Chayilam Haba. What's Eilam Haba? Chlolos in general. Bedarge Al Yain, and its much loftiest level. Koi Al Gan Eden Elyon. We're talking the supernal Gan Eden. Shemok and Shemena Niklucha Neshama. That's where the Neshama starts. Shalzen Emar, about which the Mishnah says. Da ma'ayin bosa. No, from where you come. Where do you come from? Answer is ma'ayin. Neshama comes from ayin. Ayin means nothing. No thing. No mitzias. Elikus. Chinas Ganed Elyon. And then the Gemara says, the Mishnah K'nin, so you have to know to where ata helech. Where you're going, la'on to where. Where is already mokim. On means place. So we're talking about already Bria, creation, otherness, Kalim, Ganed Natachten, to descent from Ayin to Mitzius. And all the way down to this world. So this level of Ayin from where the Neshama began, this is called the life of the world to come. Which now is going to explain the deal of Chaye. No, I didn't learn further myself, but I'm assuming it's in brackets. So it's in brackets. No, he's not going to elaborate on that. Maybe it will come out. Chaye as opposed to Keli. I don't know. We'll see. The deal of Chaye Olam Haba. Despite it all, Yofe, the point is, Sha'achas of Tshuva Ma'asim Tovim Beilam Hazeh. Let's go a bit further. How long is this ice? A little bit further. In Yadu, Shagan Neiden Beilam Haba, Va'ilam Shabanimsa, Hagan Neiden Heim. So it's known that Gan Eden and the Eilam Haba, in which Gan Eden is found, this is not one level, Kedas HaToim, as those who are in error and view, Ella, Shalei Be'erech B'dugma Zelazeh. Gan Eden and Eilam Haba are completely incomparable. Let's see. Gan Eden like Gan Eden down here. Physically, when we're at the Machava were placed, it's obvious even though they're in this world, paradise, Gan Eden is completely incomparable to all matters of the world. So just like what Gan Eden in this world is the rest of the world, even though it's in the world, so true of Gan Eden Elyon, which is Eilam Abriya, Gan Eden Eilam Abriya, it's much higher. Gan Eden of Eilam Abriya is much higher than Eilam Abriya itself, which is going to explain. Therefore, with respect to Elam Habriya, which is called the world of the Kisei, there are the Malachim which bear aloft the Kisei. So Isa b'Medrash, so Benegeya, Elam Habriya, Benegeya, this Darga Medrash says of a pasuk, Leirani Adam Achai, no man can see me and live, says in Medrash, not only down here, but even the heavenly angels cannot see Hashem's glory. Because Elam Haba, as lofty as it is, it's concealment. And Gan Eden is a completely loftier level, even though B'chlalis it is in Elam Habriya. Okay, let's stop here. And God willing, learn it further. So we'll revisit this.